Cling. The wet clothes would cling to his body. She didn't want to let go and clung to her mother. Fumble. To handle something clumsily or awkwardly. Example, he would fumble with the keys before unlocking the door. Hickey. A mark left on the skin, typically caused by a passionate kiss or bite. Example, she tried to cover up the hickey on her neck with a scarf. Pounce. To quickly and aggressively seize or attack. Example, the cat pounced on the toy mouse. Pout. To show displeasure by pushing out the lips. Example, when she didn't get her way, she would pout. Tangle. To twist or interweave things into a confused mass. Example, the cords under the desk were all tangled up. Grumble. To complain or express dissatisfaction. Example, he would grumble about the long wait in line. Peep. To take a quick look or glance. He peeped through the window to see who was outside. Savage. Fearless or tough. Example, he made a savage comeback during the argument. Sneak. To move quietly and secretly. Example, the cat would sneak up on the unsuspecting bird. Twitch. To make a sudden, small movement. Example, when she touched his arm, he couldn't help but twitch in surprise. Wobble. To move unsteadily from side to side. Example, the uneven table wobbled when touched. Faceplant. To fall or trip forward and land face first. Example, he tripped over the curb and face planted onto the sidewalk. Stagger. To walk or move unsteadily, often due to intoxication or exhaustion. Example, after a long hike, they staggered back to the campsite. Swag. Cool confidence or style. Example, she's got swag with those sunglasses. Snort. To exhale forcibly through the nostrils, often as a sign of annoyance. Example, the horse would snort when startled. Quiver. To tremble or shake slightly. Example, the aspen leaves would quiver in the breeze. Glare. To stare angrily or fiercely at someone. Example, the teacher gave a glare to the noisy students. Peek. To look quickly or secretly. Example, the curious child peeked through the keyhole. Puked. Vomit. He felt sick and had to puke. Roar. To make a loud, deep, and powerful sound. Example, the lion's roar could be heard from a distance. Bedwetting. Involuntarily urinating during sleep. Bedwetting is common in young children. Alms. The kind-hearted woman gave alms to the beggars on the street. He gave alms to beggar in the street. Quarrel. They had a quarrel over the TV remote. It's not worth it to quarrel with your friends over small things. Provoke. His teasing comments would often provoke her laughter. Try not to provoke your little brother's temper. FOMO. Fear of missing out, the feeling of missing out on something exciting. Example, I had serious FOMO when I couldn't go to the concert. Bae. A term of endearment for a boyfriend or girlfriend. Example, she's my bae, we've been dating for a year. Lame. Boring or not cool. Example, that movie was lame, I fell asleep. Wince, to flinch or show pain or discomfort. Example, he would wince when the doctor gave him a shot. Wail, to cry out loudly in grief or pain. Example, the mournful sound of the wind made it seem like it was wailing. Nuzzle, to rub or push gently with the nose or face. Example, the horse would nuzzle against the rider. Swivel, to turn or rotate around a fixed point. Example, the chair could swivel to face any direction. Prance, to walk or move in a lively and spirited manner. Example, the horse would prance in excitement. Peeps, people, friends, or acquaintances. Example, I'm meeting up with my peeps later. Gucci, good or okay. Example, everything is Gucci, don't worry. Ghost, to disappear suddenly. Example, he ghosted her after the first date. Flex, to show off. Example, he likes to flex his muscles at the gym. Bling, flashy jewelry, especially diamonds. Example, she's wearing so much bling tonight. Thirsty, desperate for attention. Example, she's so thirsty for likes on social media. Salty, upset or bitter about something. Example, he's still salty about losing the game. Jelly, to jealous. Example, he's totally jelly of your new car. Zonked, extremely tired or exhausted. Example, after the hike, I was completely zonked. tea. Gossip or juicy information. Example, spill the tea about what happened last night. Woke. Aware of social issues. Example, she's really woke about environmental problems. Ship. To support a romantic relationship between two people or characters. Example, I totally ship them, they would make a cute couple. Chill. Relax or take it easy. Example, let's just chill at home tonight. Lit. Really cool or exciting. Example, the concert last night was lit. Vibes. The atmosphere or feeling of a place or situation. Example, the vibes at the party were amazing. Gig. A job, especially a temporary one in the entertainment industry. Example, she got a gig as a backup dancer. Crank. To turn a handle or lever to operate a machine. Example, he had to crank the engine to start the car. Murmur. To speak or say something in a low, soft voice. Example, the lovers would murmur sweet words to each other. Tug. Topple something with a sudden, sharp movement. Example, she had to tug on the rope to lift the heavy box. Cacophony. A harsh, discordant mixture of sounds. Example, the city street was filled with a cacophony of honking horns and shouting voices. Quirk. A peculiar or unexpected behavior. Example, one of his quirks was always wearing mismatched socks. Slither. To move smoothly and quietly like a snake. Example, the snake would slither through the grass. Peck. To strike or pick up with the beak. Example, the chickens would peck at the scattered grains. Euphoria, a feeling of intense happiness and excitement. Example, winning the championship filled the team with euphoria and a sense of accomplishment. Linger, to stay in a place longer than necessary. Example, the aroma of fresh coffee made him linger in the kitchen. Cherish, to hold dear and appreciate deeply. Example, they would cherish the memories of their trip. Lurk, to lie in wait, often with a sinister intent. Example, the cat would lurk in the shadows, ready to pounce. Clasp, to grasp or hold tightly. Example, she would clasp her hands in prayer. Rustle, to make a soft, muffled sound like the movement of leaves. Example, the wind would rustle through the trees. Squirm, to twist or wriggle the body from side to side. Example, the child would squirm in discomfort during the long meeting. Savor, to enjoy or appreciate something deeply. Example, she would savor the flavor of the delicious chocolate. Glide, to move smoothly and effortlessly. Example, the figure skater would glide across the ice with grace. Droop, to bend or hang downward limply. Example, the flowers began to droop after days without water. Greet, to welcome or acknowledge with a gesture or word. Example, they would greet each other with a warm smile. Smirk, to smile in a smug or self-satisfied way. Example, he couldn't help but smirk after winning the game. Preen, to groom or clean oneself with the beak or tongue. Example, the bird would preen its feathers after bathing. Trudge, to walk slowly and heavily, often with difficulty. Example, the tired hiker would trudge up the steep hill. Mutter. To speak in a low and indistinct manner. Example, he would mutter under his breath when frustrated. Coo. To make a soft murmuring or gentle sound. Example, the dove would coo in the peaceful garden. Glare. To stare angrily or fiercely. Example, she would glare at him for forgetting their anniversary. Loom. To appear as a shadowy, large, or threatening figure. Example, the mountain would loom in the distance. Frolic. To play and move about in a lively and playful way. Example, the puppies would frolic in the grassy field. Whimper. To make a low, plaintive, or distressed sound. Example, the puppy would whimper when left alone. Snicker. To give a half-suppressed laugh. Example, the kids would snicker in the back of the classroom. Clamor. A loud and confused noise. Example, the marketplace was filled with the clamor of voices. Plop. To fall or drop with a sound like something heavy hitting a surface. Example, the raindrops would plop onto the roof. Droop. To bend or hang downward limply. Example, the flowers began to droop after days without water. Glide. To move smoothly and effortlessly. Example, the swan glided across the serene lake. Purr. A soft, continuous, vibrating sound made by a contented cat. Example, the cat would purr while being petted. Chuckle. To laugh quietly or to oneself. Example, he couldn't help but chuckle at the amusing story. Smack. To hit with a loud, sharp sound. Example, he gave the table a smack with his palm in frustration. Glimmer, to shine faintly with a wavering light. Example, the stars would glimmer in the night sky. Toss, to throw something lightly or casually. Example, he would toss the ball to his friend. Clatter, to make a loud, rattling noise. Example, the dishes would clatter as they fell to the floor. Peep, to make a small, high-pitched sound. Example, the chicks would peep in the nest. Drift, to be carried along by currents of air or water. Example, the clouds would drift lazily across the sky. Stir, to mix by moving a spoon or stick in a circular motion. Example, she would stir the soup on the stove. Shuffle, walk by dragging or sliding the feet. Example, he would shuffle his feet awkwardly in the dance. Whirl, to spin or rotate rapidly. Example, the dancer would whirl gracefully on the floor. Cackle, to laugh noisily or in a shrill manner. Example, the witches would cackle as they brewed their potions. Glisten, to shine with a soft, radiant light. Example, the dew on the leaves would glisten in the morning sun. Quixotic, exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic and impractical. Example, his quixotic pursuit of a world without conflict seemed admirable, if not naive. Serendipity, finding something good without looking for it. Example, their chance meeting was a serendipitous moment that changed their lives. Stumble, to trip or lose balance while walking. Example, she stumbled over a tree root in the dark forest. Pernicious, having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. Example, The pernicious influence of negative peer pressure can lead to destructive behaviors. Ubiquitous, present, appearing, or found everywhere. Example: smartphones have become ubiquitous in today's society. Voracious, wanting or devouring great quantities of something. Example: she had a voracious appetite for books, often finishing several in a week. Capricious, given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. Example: the weather in this region is known for its capricious nature, often shifting unexpectedly. Sniff, to inhale air audibly through the nose. Example: he would sniff the flowers to enjoy their fragrance. Flutter, to move with quick, light, and irregular motions. Example: the butterfly would flutter from flower to flower. Squint, to partly close the eyes to see better or reduce glare. Example: he would squint in the bright sunlight. Irritate, the constant noise from construction sites can irritate people. Chewing loudly can irritate those around you. Stench, the garbage can had a terrible stench. He wrinkled his nose at the foul stench in the room. Stomp, to make a heavy and noisy step by forcefully bringing the foot down. Example: he would stomp his feet in frustration. Hiss, to make a sharp, sibilant sound like a snake. Example: the kettle started to hiss when it boiled. Smack, to hit with a loud, sharp sound. Example: he gave the table a smack with his palm. Hum, to make a continuous, low, and musical sound. Example: the refrigerator would hum softly in the background. Sorrow, He felt deep sorrow when his best friend passed away. Sorrow filled his heart as he read the sad news. Dust. The old bookshelf collected a layer of dust. She used a cloth to wipe away the dust from the table. Separate. The teacher asked the students to separate into groups. It's important to separate recyclables from regular trash. Plead. To make an emotional appeal or beg earnestly. Example, he pleaded with the judge for a lighter sentence. Tawdry. Looking bright and attractive but in fact cheap and low quality. B. Example, she found dressing gowns and slippery so tawdry. Clock somebody. To hit someone on the head or face. Example, the man turned round and clocked her one. Tremble. To shake involuntarily, usually due to fear, excitement, or cold. Example, he began to tremble with nervousness before his big presentation. Muddy. Covered in or containing wet, soft earth or dirt. Example, his shoes got muddy after walking through the rain-soaked field. Shotgun wedding. A hastily arranged wedding due to an unplanned pregnancy. Example, they had a shotgun wedding after finding out they were expecting. Tomboy. A girl who enjoys activities typically associated with boys. Example, as a tomboy, she preferred climbing trees and playing sports. Baffle. To confuse or bewilder. Example, the complex puzzle game baffled even the experts. Bag of bones. Someone who is extremely thin. Example, she bagged bones before anyone noticed she was gone. Scold. To reprimand or criticize someone angrily. Example, she scolded her children for not doing their chores. Vendor. A person or company that sells goods or services. Example: the food vendor at the festival had a variety of delicious snacks. Hunch. A strong feeling or intuition about something. Example: I had a hunch that the project would be successful. Graze. When cows eat grass in a field, they graze on the green plants. I saw a horse grazing in the meadow. Gulp. When you're really thirsty, you might gulp down a glass of water quickly. He drank the glass of milk in one gulp. Drool. Babies often drool when they're teething, causing their mouth to produce extra saliva. Nibble. A rabbit might nibble on a carrot, taking small bites. He started to nibble his biscuit. Imitate. Children often imitate the actions or words of adults, trying to copy what they see. The small baby imitated her mother. Chew. Before swallowing food, it's important to chew it well to make it easier to digest. The meat's so though I can hardly chew it. Appetite. After playing outside, you might have a big appetite and want to eat a hearty meal. When I was ill, I completely lost my appetite. Seep. To flow or leak slowly through small openings. Example: water seeped through the cracks in the old pipe. Namesake. A person named after someone, often a family member. Example: she was named after her grandmother and is her namesake. Sip. When you drink from a straw, you take small sips to avoid drinking too quickly. He took a sip of his coffee. Sweat. After exercising, he was covered in sweat. The hot weather made everyone sweat. Mud. The children played in the mud after the rain. Her shoes got covered in mud during the hike. Affection. The dog showed affection by wagging its tail. She hugged her friend to express her affection. Sow. In spring, farmers sow seeds in the fields. She sowed the flower seeds in her garden. Apologize. He had to apologize for being late to the meeting. She apologized to her friend for forgetting their birthday. Trap. The clever mouse managed to escape from the trap set by the farmer. Be careful not to fall into the trap of procrastination. Bargaining. He was good at bargaining for a lower price at the market. Bargaining with the salesman, she got a discount on the dress. Take a leak. Slang for urinating. Example, I'll be right back, just need to take a leak. Lick. The girl I licking lollipop. A cat might lick its fur to keep it clean and tidy. Gobble. If you're really hungry, you might gobble down your meal in no time. Eat slowly and don't gobble. Swear. I swear I didn't say anything. He promised to swear his loyalty to the king. Threaten. She felt threatened by the aggressive behavior of the stranger on the street. Did he actually hit you, or just threaten you? Splash. She jumped into the pool with a splash. The children laughed and splashed in the pool on a hot summer day. Puddle. After the rain, a large puddle formed at the end of the driveway. He jumped over the puddle. Gust. A sudden gust of wind blew leaves all around the garden. A sudden gust of wind made me shiver. Abuse. It's important to speak out against any form of abuse or mistreatment. It is not good to abuse someone. Shake. Nervously, she began to shake as she faced the audience. Shake the bottle before you open it. Rescue. The firefighter's quick response helped rescue the trapped cat from the tree. He had attempted to rescue the drowning man. Wet. His clothes and face got completely wet. The rain left everything outside wet and glistening. Drip. A leaky faucet continued to drip, making a rhythmic sound in the quiet room. The rain was dripping off the roof. Mingle. At the party, people from different backgrounds came together to mingle and share stories. He is very shy and does not mingle with children at school. Plow. To turn over soil using a plow. The farmer plowed the field before planting seeds. Rattle. To make a series of rapid noises. The window rattled in the wind. Flip. To turn something quickly. He flipped the pancake in the air. Sleepwalk. To walk around while asleep. Example. Sometimes he would sleepwalk and end up in the living room. Stroll. To walk leisurely. They took a leisurely stroll in the park. Gossip. Casual conversation about other people's private lives. They were gossiping about their neighbors. Snooze. To sleep lightly or take a short nap. I like to snooze for a few minutes after the alarm goes off. Munch. To eat with a continuous and often audible chewing sound. He munched on popcorn while watching the movie. Flaunt. To show off or display with pride. She liked to flaunt her new jewelry. Slouch. To sit, stand, or walk with a drooping posture. He tends to slouch when he's tired. Sizzle. To make a hissing sound when cooking. Example: the bacon sizzled in the hot pan. Nudge. To push gently to get someone's attention. Example: she gave him a nudge to wake him up. Sway. To move gently from side to side. Example: the tree branches swayed in the breeze. Pat. To gently tap or stroke with the hand. Example: he gave the dog a friendly pat on the head. Squirm. To wriggle or twist the body in discomfort. Example: the child couldn't sit still and began to squirm in his seat. Mumble. To speak in a low, unclear voice. Example: he would mumble when he was nervous. Float. To stay on the surface of a liquid or in the air. Example: the balloon floated high above the crowd. Creep. To move slowly and quietly to avoid being noticed. Example: the cat would creep up on its prey. Glance. A quick, brief look. Example: She gave a quick glance at the clock during the boring meeting. Drip. To fall in drops or trickle. Example, water dripped from the leaky faucet. Crumble. To break or fall apart into small pieces. Example, the old cookie started to crumble in my hand. Zoom. To move quickly with a humming or buzzing sound. Example, the cars zoomed down the highway. Swing. To move back and forth on a suspended object. Example, the children love to swing on the playground swings. Hitch. A temporary problem or obstacle. Example, we hit a hitch in our travel plans when our car broke down. Giggle. To laugh in a silly or childlike way. The children giggled at the funny joke. Pee. To urinate. I need to pee before we leave. Whisper. To speak very quietly. She whispered a secret into her friend's ear. Thanks for watching and subscribe us for more.